I'm Sam.
And I'm Max.
And this is Movie Nostalgia, where we give you an honest review of the movies we've meddled with so mischievously over at Maybe Movies.
And on this episode, we are looking at, as I think I put it the other day, the most space opera of space operas.
Oh, yes.
The one, the only, the never to be repeated, and that's a good thing, Flashgordon.
Dun, dun, dun!
This is the 1980 Dino De Laurentis produced, Mike Hodges directed sci-fi extravaganza, starring Sam Jones, Max von Sydow, Melody Anderson, Topol, Timothy Dalton, Brian Blessed, Ornella Muti, Peter Wingard, Richard O'Brien, you mentioned earlier, John Hallam in a smaller role. There is a load more. Come on, brain.
Peter Green, if
Peter
you
Green.
remember Blue Peter.
Yes,
TV show.
Yes, Peter Duncan.
Peter Duncan. Sorry,
Peter Duncan,
yeah.
and also not to be forgotten. And again, this was, I think I mentioned at the time when we did it on Maybe Movies. Also featuring Philip Stone, who plays the high priest who does the wedding at the end. Who in Temple of Doom plays the British Colonel Blumbert.
The British Army nicely did away with them.
Oh, right.
But who's also probably best known as one Delbert Grady.
If you know, you know.
Oh, yes.
A rather naughty boy, if I may be so bold, sir.
In fact, that's even better, because look, I can just pop that down.
It looks pretty, doesn't it? Doesn't it?
So, welcome to the new setup.
Yes, it's all shiny and new and bright.
Yeah, do apologise if it's all a bit rough and ready at the moment, but we'll get it right as we go along. As all good things, we start from a point and then we improve incrementally.
Incrementally would be the right word, yes.
Well, this one is all of the kid feels and throwbacks.
Oh, absolutely.
I would have been 6 when this came out.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have probably seen it first when it came on TV, maybe about a year or so afterwards.
So you saw it in
81, 82, something like that.
Yeah, okay. I have a slightly different story. Some of you may know I didn't originally live in England. I grew up as a child in South Carolina in North America, just outside of a city called Charleston, in a little suburb called Somerville. When I was 7, my family, for various reasons, decided to bring us back to England. And this was the very first film that I ever saw at the cinema in the UK. It was a unique experience. We'd literally been back in England about 3 months. As I remember it, there was an offer. It was like if you spent so much at a supermarket, you would get so many tickets to see a movie. And my nanny came back from the supermarket with 2 tickets and gave them to me and my brother and taught us how to get from her flat to the cinema. And we did. And that was the first film that I saw in the UK. And for that reason alone, it's got a huge place in my heart. But then you add just the amazing cinematography, the soundtrack, the set design, the incredible over-the-top performances of the actors, and the pure brilliance of having Queen basically build a soundtrack from the ground up.
Oh yeah, the soundscape, it's incredible. It's interesting because I know you were saying earlier that you didn't know who Queen was because you'd been living in the States.
No, I didn't.
Well, interesting enough, neither did Dino De Laurentis. You've never heard of them.
That makes sense. That does make sense. But I mean, I swear, I can't remember exactly which one was first. The first tape I had was either Adam Ant or it was the Flash soundtrack.
Yeah.
Flash Gordon soundtrack. I can't remember which one it was that was first. It was very close to my heart in many, many ways.
I just remember falling in love with it as a kid. Obviously, at that age, it was all of the lights, all of the flashes, all of the bits. You throw on top of that Princess Aurora as well. It's like, if you ever needed as a small boy to understand the virtues, shall we say, of a bad girl.
I was going to say, the virtues of being naughty.
Yes.
The virtues of being naughty.
It's just like,
yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, she was an early manifestation of the urge to do wrong things.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Even though I didn't understand what those wrong things were.
But there was just so much going on with this film. I mean, it's one of those ones when you when you look into it, it was a bit of a nightmare. I know you were saying earlier about, unfortunately, a lot of Sam Jones's lines were dubbed. That's because he was fired.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think they asked him to do something unreasonable.
What I heard was he had a massive bust up with Dino De Laurentis over non-payment for something.
Exactly.
And but also
the things they were supposed to pay him for,
yeah.
that they had a contract for, and De Laurentis wasn't paying him.
But he was also a bit of a nightmare as well. Apparently he kept getting into fights.
Really?
During filming. At one point, Laurentis had to storm into an operating theatre where they were trying to repair some damage that because he'd scraped his face in a fight, and they were worried about him not being able to continue because of the damage. And he was having a go at making sure that the doctor fixed the damage properly.
I'd never heard any of that.
Yeah.
That is new to me.
But yeah,
that is new news.
He was fired after principal photography and never returned for the second unit work or for the post-production, which is why they had to redub most of his lines.
Oh, right.
Which was a bit of a shitter also because all of the cast that were involved had signed on for multiple films. And because they lost their star, the rest never happened. Well, that and a mediocre box office was why they never got a sequel.
Well, I mean, I'd argue about the mediocre box office, but right, but losing your star. I mean, Flash Gordon isn't Flash Gordon without Flash Gordon.
Exactly.
That's a damn shame. I knew that he'd fought with De Laurentis, and I knew it was to do with payment, but I didn't realise they fired him. I just heard that they didn't rehire him when it came to do the ADR, which is why he got redubbed.
Yeah, he just
at least that's what I heard.
Yeah, apparently they broke for Christmas. It was the end of principal photography, and he just went off to America and never came back.
Well, damn, that's such a shame.
It is. It is a real shame. But we do get to the wonderful, wonderful Brian Blessed, who I found out not only was a lifelong Flash Gordon fan.
All right.
But his favourite character was Voltaire. So he got to live all of his childhood dreams.
All right, yes, I get it.
Yeah.
Die! Yes.
By the way, short term. To do the synopsis for this one.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I suppose in many ways this is quite simple. This is the tale of Flash Gordon, an internationally recognised athlete who, due to various circumstances, bumps into a young, beautiful woman named Del Arden, and then very quickly afterwards, a scientist named Zarkov, who was convinced that the Earth is being attacked from outer space. His attempts to find out where that's coming from and to reach them are, in some ways, the point of this story. But, without giving too much away, because I really haven't, there is so much more to this story. This is classic space opera. It's based off of, what do you call them?
Black and white serials and cartoons.
Serials, yes. The serials from the 30s and 40s. There were, in fact, 3 or 4 Flash Gordon serials in the 30s. They established the concept of a hero in a way that a lot of other serials didn't. He's kind of a prototype for the modern superhero stroke pulp hero.
The all-American boy.
The all-American person taken to a strange location and doing strange things and winning.
They made a few changes apparently. So apparently in the original serials, Flash Gordon was a polo player.
Polo or lacrosse or something?
Yeah.
Yes, I knew it was something like that.
But because by the 80s that was kind of out of favour, it wasn't as popular, that's why they make him the starting quarterback for the New York Jets.
Oh, yes, but it works so well. I mean,
does.
that scene with the eggs alone. And if you haven't seen the film, you won't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it has a bit of a reputation nowadays as being really, really campy and all this kind of thing. It's really not. I know Mike Hodges said, basically he said about it, it was the most improvised $28 million movie you will ever see. But everything works. The amount of time and effort, and again, as we talk about a lot on this show, and just in general, practical effects for the win.
Oh, yes.
What they do with, everything that you see is there.
Just the skies alone, which, according to rumour, are made with a mixture of oil, water, and milk and food dyes. But when you look at them as backgrounds, woof!
Oh yeah.
They're absorbing, vibrant. They create a sense of space out of so many things.
Yeah.
So many things.
When you take a look at some of the old black and white serials, and you look at how they envisaged the landscapes back then, how they've incorporated that aesthetic and then applied that late 70s, early 80s veneer to it, and updated it for that. This is how you update something. This is how you remake something and add to it, as opposed to taking away from it.
Absolutely.
What I did find really interesting about this, so apparently in the 70s, a young lad by the name of George Lucas had wanted to make a remake of Flash Gordon. And
I'd heard that story.
Yeah, and he petitioned De Laurentis and he wouldn't give up the rights. So he went, right, fine.
I'll do it myself.
And then De Laurentis, 4 or 5 years later, went, I think we should do what the kid said.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
It's pretty much the story I've heard as well.
Yeah, which is fantastic. But no, as I said, unfortunately at the start, made for about 28 million. It only took 46.5 worldwide.
That's still not terrible.
No.
It's not as much as you think it deserves, because, I mean, this film has endured.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just us talking about it now, suddenly after 40 years. This has been an enduring classic ever since it was created. And anybody who's grown up with it has many, many reasons to love it. And if you haven't watched it yet, you need to find a reason to love it.
Especially this year, because it's celebrating its 45th anniversary this year.
45th?
1980, wasn't it?
So get out there, folks. Watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Learn to appreciate what was created before you were born and love it.
Absolutely. There's no question about this one. It's all of the thumbs from me.
All of the thumbs from me. There is no question. Watch it again. Appreciate the soundtrack. Appreciate the cinematography. Appreciate the sound design. The production design. Just appreciate it.
And I don't care what anybody says. Dale Arden kicks ass.
Oh, she does.
We will see you soon with something else. Until then, as always, look after yourselves, look after one another, and take care.
And as always, guys, DTFN.
And I suppose the only other thing that we should say is we should have raise a toast to the only things that matter. Fortune and glory, kid.
Fortune and glory.